On Wednesday morning, the Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba, reported back to residents and the international business community on the state of the city. It was Mayor Mashaba's second report back since taking office. It's been a long road to implement change, according to the administration, as they struggle to meet current service delivery needs and backlogs. We look back now at the highlights of today's event and receive feedback from the opposition ANC and the EFF.
We know that the cold truth is that we have a long way to go. Our inherited service delivery backlogs within the city are staggering. They are a product of years and years of neglect, and they manifest in the daily service delivery issues that plague our communities. The 100,000 potholes in our city arise from a shocking 11.8 billion rands backlog in our road network. In 2017, over 3,900 kilometers of our roads had fallen into the classification of poor or very poor conditions. This is the equivalent length of road that would take someone from Johannesburg to Nairobi. This has been made worse by 56 billion rands backlog in stormwater drainage that results in the increasing structural decline of our roads. This is also seen in the flooding of our communities, including some parts of Soweto. No stormwater drainage has ever been installed. 78% of our 900 bridges in the city are classified as being either poor or very poor condition. 6.5 billion rands is required to address this. Our electrical network is no better. Over 27% of our bulk transformers now operate beyond their useful lifespan, ranging between 48 and 91 years old. That is right. Some of these transformers, for your information, were built in 1927. Our electrical infrastructure backlog sits at a staggering 17 billion rands. This is experienced by residents suffering 170,000 low voltage outages in this financial year alone. Our water network can be likened to the cartoon character with the fingers and toes plugging the leaks of a ship. Available data from 2016-17 shows that the water network suffered 45,000 leaks per year. This is despite the fact we know that water will be one of the greatest challenges the city will face in the future. Our housing list stands at 152,000 people, with a need for 300,000 city-produced housing opportunities.
For greater insight on the housing crisis, the MMC for Housing had this to say.
We have a problem of land invasion throughout the city, where people are taking land, and we are trying to present to them that as the city we have a program of sites and service where we want to give it to people, trying to address the issue of backlogs. You know, there is this housing backlogs in the city, but we are trying to address that issue through sites and service, where we want to service sites and give it to people. But unfortunately, people lose patience. They are no longer giving us time to do that. They are invading all over. I'm not blaming them, but at the same time, there are criminal activities among those programs, because when they are invading, others are not qualified to benefit, but others are invading because they want to benefit personal. So there are those issues, but we are very busy looking at that.
The issue of land invasion is fiercely supported by the EFF for a number of reasons. They maintain that the housing crisis has reached alarming proportions.
It's not invasion, it's occupation. We can't call it invasion, it's occupation. The land is idling. and the people are starving for space, a piece of land they can call home. They're starving for that, and the city in the previous financial year, they did not build a single house for the people of Johannesburg. They have a backlog that is over 300,000. And previously, the city used to build 3,000 houses a year. With a backlog of 300,000, it means it's going to take the city just to address the current backlog over 100 years to address that backlog. So these occupation of land are as a result of people who have no place to stay, and the city is failing to address those challenges. It's failing to come with an effective plan on how to address the issue of houses and for the people who do not have some. So the EFF were clear. We have said as the EFF continuously through the president and the commander-in-chief that if you see a piece of land and you like it and you have no place to stay, take it, it's yours. We encourage our communities. They can't continue to stay like it's the Nazi concentration camps of Nazi Germany. No, it can't happen. And when there's a lot of idling land, that is nothing. We propose to the DA and its coalition partners that come up with a program of service and sites. Put bulk infrastructure, put all the necessary services and allocate land to people. Some of these people will be able to build houses for themselves. They're still wondering as we speak now. So it's a result. This land occupation is a result of the failures of the DA and its coalition partner. And this is the failures that they found also, which the ANC failed to address. And they continue with the exact ANC failures. So it's a result of a government that is failing to provide the basic of services to the people.
Well, he tries to retrofit the forgotten people. Firstly, he has not built a single house outside the projects that were done by the ANC. Not even a single house. He comes here and boasts that I've issued 5,700 title deeds. Okay. He found them there. Kudos to him. People don't need that. People need shelter. People need good roads. People need schools. People need halls. People need recreation. People need jobs. And of course, his trade-offs are very limiting and very limited. So I think he is really run out of ideas. He never had ideas. He's not giving ideas. He's pandering to the EFF. I think the bulk of the speech was trying to say to the EFF, please keep me in power. His opening line, he says, whether I last a month, I last a year, or I last till the end of the term, I'm on a path to changing. He accepts that he doesn't have the mandate. If he had the mandate, would be very confident that he will stay 5 years.
Here is how the Department of Transport is dealing with current challenges.
We are currently constructing a state-of-the-art transport facility here in Johannesburg, next to Park Station, in an old garage that used to be called Kazin. We're going to be calling it Johannesburg International Transport Interchange, where it will be a home for buses and taxis that are moving from the city of Johannesburg into other neighboring provinces and other neighboring countries. And this is going to be a facility that where these commuters will be doing their shopping there and then traveling to their countries there. So we're really excited and looking forward to it, and we're hoping to complete it by December 2018. And apart from that, we've completed 2 bridges. One, Greyston Bridge, which is a bus and pedestrian bridge, and one is Lis Bridge, which is a cycling and pedestrian bridge. The reason why we decided to embark on those projects was because we realized that over 10,000 people are trekking from Alex into Sandton, and they were doing so in a manner which was not safe for them. So now we have those bridges where those bridges are like linking Sandton to Alex, and we're very excited about that. Those projects have been completed, and we will be launching the one bridge. We will be opening it officially in the few weeks to come. And apart from that, we have together with JRA, we have tarred over 30 km of roads in the poorest of the poor areas like Bramfisherville, like Lolly, like Doornkop. We have upgraded gravel roads to tar. And apart from that, we have also fixed 181 potholes within the city, 81,000 potholes within the city of Johannesburg ever since we started as the new administration. And with the number of rains and the amount of rain that we had, most of the roads were damaged. And if you'll remember, we once did a survey which told us exactly how our road infrastructure is. And we have managed to do those 181,000 potholes. We fixed those. Personally, how I wished we had enough budget where we could actually resurface these roads rather than patch potholes, but we don't have the budget, so we have to stick to fixing the potholes. And we've also started a program together with the mayor where we called it the no joint policy on traffic signals. We have now recabled 124 intersections within the city, and we have seen quite some improvement on those that we have done. It is a project that we hoping to continue with it throughout the number of years, and but we have really seen results on the ones that we have recabled so far. The only challenge that we're facing is the theft and vandalism of the infrastructure. Next to these traffic signals that we are recabling, there is a system that we are putting in called the UPS, the uninterrupted power supply. What is happening now, those boxes are being vandalized. And those boxes are actually there to assist us that when there is a power outage, they kick in and then the traffic signal will continue to work for about 48 hours. But now we're not benefiting with that because every time we put it in, it gets vandalized. So those are the challenges that we had, but we are moving on. We're hoping that one day we will get to a stage where our infrastructure will be protected by the very residents of the city, because whatever we do, we're doing it for them, for their benefit.
Possibly the most staggering backlog of all are in the finances. In 2012, the city took a decision to invest 100 billion rands in capital expenditure over 10 years. You may remember this from the many billboards, radio adverts and full-page newspaper spreads. This entire plan was premised on the idea that the city would improve its revenue collection and generate with cash-backed surpluses that would be matched by national treasury. Needless to say, neither of these two assumptions materialized. Rather than backtracking on all that marketing, the city began borrowing from future revenue that had not been materialized. Upon stepping into office, we were settled with debt in the region of 17 billion rands, 5 billion of which was due this year. It was perhaps this particular inheritance which was the most challenging of all, limiting our ability to address the service delivery backlogs which confronted us. The plans of this multi-party government have to be aligned to overcoming these enormous backlogs in order to grow our economy, create jobs, provide quality services to all our residents. Fellow councillors, I stand before you today to tell you of the kind of change that has taken root in our city. While the city's infrastructure has been allowed to decay over many years, with less than 2% spent on repairs and maintenance, I'm pleased to inform our residents that repairs and maintenance spent now stand at over 6%. The job of keeping our infrastructure working will require a delicate balance between repairs, maintenance and refurbishment. This is a monumental task viewed against the background of historic failure.
The main opposition party, the ANC, says they are ready to debate the State of the City address on Friday.
He says we overborrowed because we did not have the cash back balances, which is a lie. In fact, I'll go to the extent that part of the mayor's speech are sounding good politically, but they are pure lies because they are not based on any fact. So he creates a foundation to say, I'm failing because this is what the ANC government did. If he can drill deep into what the ANC government did, then he'll know the truth. So we're going to dispel those distortions, we're going to dispel those myths. The second thing we'll be doing is that we'll be raising the level of debate and saying, where is the city going? The city is supposed to be moving in a direction of becoming a world-class African city. He says, I've saved money for international travels. If you don't understand internationalism and you're a mayor of a great city like Johannesburg, this is not a corner municipality in the middle of nowhere. This is the epicenter of economic development. This is the epicenter of migration. This is the epicenter of prosperity. That's why people come here for looking for opportunities. And if you don't understand that, and you say, people don't need swimming pools, they need electricity, those trade-offs are bad. So all we're saying is that we'll be lecturing them on what the state of the city is.
At the event, we caught up with some of the MMCs for greater insight on their mandates to deliver to the people.
Look, I think, I think everyone appreciates that the finances of the city could be better. Everyone appreciates that, there's a lot of illegalities also happening across the city. You'll remember that we have started what we call a revenue enhancement program in the department. The purpose of this really is to identify revenue streams that have been neglected in the past. We have identified close to about 2,000 businesses across the city, and this is a conservative number. These are businesses that can afford to pay the city, but they're not paying. They are connecting to our electricity for free, they are connecting to our water grid for free, and so forth. Some of them are not even paying property rates. So we are going to them and engaging with these businesses and ensuring that we get what is due to the city of Johannesburg. It has been good. I think since January, February, we have collected close to about 349 million out of these businesses which were not paying the city in the past. We're intending to fast track this. We're intending to move as quick as possible to get to all these businesses. But not only them, there are individuals, citizens, residents of Johannesburg who can afford to pay the city, who are also connecting illegally into our grid. So we are looking and working closely with the JMPD, we are SAPS, we are working closely with other units in the city to really identify these illegalities and getting what is due to the city, because we need this money. We need this revenue so that we can be able to really spend it and improve the lives of our people in informal settlements, in neglected townships, and ensure that we really revitalize the inner city as well, where we really believe that there's a whole lot of potential.
Certainly being a phenomenal year, but at the same time it's been extremely challenging, with the issues we face, not just as a city, but I think as a nation. There are many issues that we need to sit down and find clever ways to find sustainable solutions. But we certainly have made major achievements. As you know, that we've not only recruited 1,500 JMPD trainees, but they are in a process of being trained as we speak, at the JMPD Academy. We've gone out, the issue of fire engines are so dear to our hearts that we really needed to resolve that issue. Although there were challenges with the procurement, with the contract, but we were able to salvage and deliver 3 brand new fire engines to the Jabulani, Fairview and the newly opened Cosmos City Fire Station. For that, we will be serving, hundreds of thousands of residents with this very important and critical emergency services. Operation Puamteto is one of the things I like to talk about. It's a specifically designed and focused program that we are looking to ensure there's bylaw compliance, there's traffic enforcement, so the residents will be able to enjoy peace and quiet, a neighborhood, a surrounding where bylaw enforcement is key, and of course back on our roads where road safety is number one for us. So it certainly has been a very busy year for us, a very busy year for me, but the challenge is out there. We are ready to tackle it any time.
Started the launch of our opportunity centres throughout the city. We've launched one so far within the inner city. A great initiative. We've had private and public partners on board, which is offered free of charge to the public. Throughout the next financial year, we'll also be rolling out more, so that we'll have one in each region and two within regions A and G. Other items that we've done is, we're soon to be launching our Visitors Information Centre within the Sandton. Hopefully as a pilot program to see whether we can roll it out in the rest of the city and obviously increase the tourists to Johannesburg.
The harsh realities of government is that we're in a resource-constrained environment, many needs. Our demand increases all the time. Within migration, we at primary healthcare level have to see everybody. We can't discriminate because of the type of services we provide. For instance, if we only immunize South African babies and leave out foreign nationals, then our babies are not safe, then nobody's safe. So that is our reality. I mean, we're looking at net in-migration of anything from 3,000 to 10,000 every month, and with very limited resources. When Treasury makes calculations and when province gives out money, they don't look at the statistics that we're actually dealing with on the ground. They look at population stats according to Stats SA, which will only factor in local people that are legal in the country. So quite a big challenge. But what we've done is, having outlined what our objectives are. So in health, for instance, we're looking at the extension of service hours in our clinics so that residents can access primary health care after hours, particularly targeting working people who often miss appointments because they don't want to lose their jobs. Children would miss their immunization appointments because the mom is working. So that's something that we wanted to address. Now, we started with one clinic in 2016 when we first came in, and then we had a budget to expand to other sites. Another question became, do we give 5 clinics the full package, or do we give 13 clinics half a package? So those are the kinds of considerations you need to make. And currently we're at 13 clinics. Some of them only got a Saturday and a Sunday and a public holiday. Others got weekdays up to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, others 10 o'clock. So different permutations depending on demographics around where the clinic is and what the demand actually looks like.
We just need to look at the challenges that we've had over the past year or two, and that is with regard to water losses, the fact that we haven't been able to electrify enough informal settlements, and also the cleanliness levels of the city. Now, over the last year, if we then just can take a step back, over the last year, we did, with regards to Pick It Up, introduce a third shift, and also started with a program called Arisepetseng. That has raised awareness. Arisepetseng specifically raised awareness around the cleanliness levels and the role that we, all residents, can play in keeping the environment clean. On the third shift, that was specifically aimed at informal settlements and the inner city. We've seen that the cleanliness levels of the city went from a level 5, which is the worst in areas, to up to level 2 and sometimes level 1, which is an enormous increase in service delivery, especially around cleanliness levels. That is very encouraging, and we need to continue with that program in order to ensure that our residents have a clean environment that they live in. On Joburg Water, we are going to, and I'm very excited about this, and the budget will also speak to that, that we are introducing a first line of response team that will deal specifically with the isolation of burst. So when you have a big burst, instead of seeing water spewing for 24 hours, every depot will have a first line of response team on duty, and they will then be able to go and isolate that burst immediately, and therefore also curb our water losses, which is quite high at this point in time. It's around 38%. But then we also need to intensify our program of pipe replacement As you know, we in Johannesburg, and we've said this so many times already, we have a backlog of 12 billion rand just on water infrastructure, water and sanitation. That while our budget, the capex budget, is only around 1 billion a year, or less than 1 billion a year. So we have a long way to go, and if we don't fix these problems, it will continue to happen. And those are things that we need to focus on. From an electricity point of view as well, we've got about a 19 billion rand backlog. We have substations that's incomplete for various reasons, where we saw issues around the contractor and the procurement issues in both Hopefield and the Eldorado Park substation. We need to deal with that, and we need to fix that and complete those projects in order to have a stable supply of electricity in the coming years.
Finally, we heard from the Student City Council of Johannesburg.
I think the most important part I took out of the State of the City address was that it showed that if parties are able to set their differences apart and they can come together and work together, they can bring about more change, as Councillor Herman Mashaba said, and he gave all the points that the City of Johannesburg had done in improving the city, and he made it very clear that without the help of all the other coalition parties and the EFF as well included, that they could not have brought about such change.
Firstly, he's a very strong speaker. He didn't really pay attention or give any attention towards all the people who are shouting in the back or singing. So I think that's a point I definitely take when I'm talking. And also from what he said, the economic growth, that plays an important role in making Johannesburg a better city. So I would say that's the two most important points that I got from today's speech.
For the full State of the City address, kindly visit the website of the City of Johannesburg. Thank you for watching.